Good evening, everybody. I hope this is working. Welcome to the second open practice of the Anger Games Rebirth version. I'm Dexter Teal. I'll be your host this evening. With me, obviously, is Sothrasil, who has brought you this wonderful tournament. Sothrasil, how are you feeling tonight?
Marvelous.
Fantastic. We've also got with us Hoed here, who was commentating last week as well. Hoed,
Yeah, hello.
we've got Miz here as well. Miz, you were commentating last week. How are you doing this evening?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
Fantastic. And obviously, up in that top right corner there, we've got Wingnut Cross in his lovely shades. Wingnut, how are you doing this morning over there?
Oh my god, is the sun risen yet? No, not yet, but that's right, I'm here to enjoy good fun anyway.
Fantastic. So we've got 8 matches scheduled for this evening, guys, just to give you an idea of how that's going to work. We'll have matches roughly every 15 minutes. We'll talk a little bit about the matches. We'll talk a little bit about the teams and the bands, obviously, and then we'll have people commentating each match as well as we go live to the arena. I think we're set for roughly 5 minutes to go for the first match. They're just warping onto the grid now. Let's not talk about what ships we're seeing just yet. Let's not give teams that little bit of an advantage there. But what we can do is talk about the bans for this first match. So the bans for this first match are Guardian, Deacon, Thalia, Hyena, Paladin, and Svipple. What do people think about these sort of bans?
I think that because there's no Dominic's ban, we better see Dominic's here.
Obviously, one team's picking out all of the Armology. They've left exactly one behind. We'll see if they take that. I don't think they will.
2 T2 Armology. The Zamazad and the Aneros are available for that match.
Yeah, but this is Zamazad a real logi. It's just a triangle.
Just a triangle. Wonderful. Miz, I believe you're going to be commentating this match. What do you think about these bans?
Well, it's clear that Odin's voicemail doesn't want to see a heavy armor setup. At least they're going to weaken them by forcing them to bring either Neos or Sarmast, or maybe I take 2 armor lodge.
Yeah, so I'm not sure which team is which. I am sure which team is which, actually, because it's wonderfully color-coded. We've got Fwaming Dwagons, who are just on grid getting set up now. I believe that's the first ship there as well of the Odin's voicemail team coming on grid, so we'll be able to switch across to the arena in just a second. Yeah, I think actually everyone's on grid, so we can start to talk about what we're seeing on this grid here. Hoed, you're going to be very happy to see that there is in fact a Dominix.
My life is finally complete.
We've also got a double Abaddon comp being brought by the Odin's voicemail team. That could be a lot of DPS right there.
Also very susceptible to newts, so you gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. And that Dominix could be full newt.
Sadly, the Ishtars do have Blaster's Fit, so they still have some room for a newt in their utility high.
Wingnut is telling us that that Dominix does not have any guns. So
I can see it.
utility Dominix. Very interesting. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the referee to tell us that we're good to go, and then we'll be passing that over to Miz and Hoed. General Soth, any idea how long we'll be here?
15 seconds.
15 seconds. So I'm going to hand this over to Miz and Hoed for the first match in the second Anger Games Open practice.
Wonderful. Hello, my friends. I am Hoed.
And I am Miss, and this is the first match, and it's Odin's voicemail in blue versus Framing Dragons in red. And we can see that the Odin's voicemail has walked in at range. battleship heavy setup.
Dominic's shot directly into armor. Looks like he's going to be able to tank it for a little bit. Moving on,
Yes,
I
we-
actually don't see any damage going on to the blue team.
Well, the red team has brought an drone base setup, so they're trying to. You can see the drones racing over the field. So it looks like they're going for the Griffin. They really don't like that ECM, and the Griffin is a soft target.
One interesting thing is, like I said, those Ishtars do have blasters, but right now they're not making use of them.
Well, they're probably hesitant to go in and brawl because if they get grappled by these Abaddons, they're going to take a really high amount of damage.
The Abaddons are the ones pushing forward directly towards this Dominic's here. We'll see if they're able to get to
Yes, the Abaddons are really tanky battleship. They can also put out a high amount of damage. They have a really strong damage bonus. So we've seen it
Oracle is
before.
taking some heavy damage here.
Yeah, it looks like a drone blob is on the Oracle. The Griffin did go pop. I didn't see it because I couldn't log it there. But it's down, and now they're going for the Oracle, which is also a soft target.
Both teams are actually able to tank really hard here. Something interesting we're seeing is we do have medium armor rep bots on the Stami, which makes me wonder how much healing is that doing in HP a second? Is that worth losing your Tech 2 damage bots?
Well, it's probably from the Onewas, which has the bonus for repair bot, so it's going to repair a high amount, and they're going to need it since that Dominic is slowly bleeding armor.
At the same time, we don't really see Team Red able to break anything here. The only thing they've killed so far is that one Caldari frigate. Everything else is holding quite well.
Yeah, the Griffin is a squishy target, but we have to remember that the Odin's call is using a Sarmast. They can only focus repair one target. So the red team may try and split damage on the soft targets and see if they can force it to switch.
We actually have had Dominic slowly getting tanked back up. He was holding at 50. He's almost got into 70 at this point.
Yeah, it looks like he's pulled a bit away from everything. Meantime, the Battons don't really seem to move much, and one of them been tackled by Oblob Smith in the Vengeance.
We're seeing that Ares going down. That is going to be a sizable chunk of DPS loss if they can manage to break him. And there he goes. That's probably 600, 800 DPS off the field now for Team Red.
I mean,
Teams
probably
are also even now.
don't go gang setup with the Eris when using it as a tackle, but when the Eris is down, then the Oracle is free again. So he can burn back and recover if he takes heavy damage. But we're seeing the Pontifex taking a good chunk of damage but getting repaired up again.
We see some drones going on in the Arnir. We've got a vengeance brawl happening here in the middle. I don't know who's going to win this one. We do see the poor red vengeance being hit heavy by an Oracle at range. But both of them are taking hard. Vengeances are probably the tankiest assault frigate you can get in the game. And it seems like an interesting choice to me. If I was Team Red here, I would not be focusing down a target. Or I would not be taking so long to switch because that Zarmzad, the longer it's able to rep one target, the more repping power it does. And in fact, we're
You see
seeing
an
them switch on
Ishtar.
with Zarmzad.
And Ishtar's gone on top of the Sarmset, so he's stuck and he can't move away. So now they just need to move the drone blob on top of him and then kill him.
We
This
are
is one of
seeing
the
this
strong
vengeance.
things about drone ships. It doesn't matter where you are. You can send your damage over to where the damage is needed. So the other drone ships may be going for other targets, but we do see both its targets going in. So they're going to make use of those blasters to get that extra bit of DPS.
I think we're going to see this Zarmzad take a punch in the face right now. He's dropping really low. It looks like his only tank are those remote armor rep drones on him. If he dies, I think they're going to be able to break these Abaddons and Oracle pretty easily, especially if the Ishtars get a 0. And there he goes.
Yeah, with the Sarmas down, the match has swung pretty heavily into the Fwaming Dragon's favor. They still have their logi, so they can take it easy and just slowly break things.
And there goes their Pontifex. Following right behind. I'm going to say right now, I think Team Red has won this. If those Abaddons couldn't break something, I don't think they're going to be able to pull it out from the brink here.
Half time now.
Yeah, definitely. If they've been shooting on things for so long time, they haven't been breaking much, only the areas. And this is
And we've
probably one
hit
of the
halftime.
issues with laser setup. All that damage is EM and thermal. So if these ships have reactive armor or hardener, then they're just going to be harder to break the longer you shoot at them.
We see this Oracle getting kind of low. The drone ball's caught up to him. However, you don't see any of the Ishtars burning for heavy tackle on the Oracle, which is interesting because you saw how quickly that Zarmzad
They're
melted once they
burning-
got blasters on him.
They're burning directly for him, and the dummy has a nuke on him. So he's
Yeah, we
not
see
going
one
to
Ishtar
last
running.
for long.
The other Ishtar is just kind of hiding away. Oh, the other Ishtar is moving to get DPS onto this Vengeance, which is still tanking like a champion, which is impressive.
I think it's because the Vengeance is only taking blast damage while the drone damage is going for the Oracle. But this point is just a cleanup job for the Fwaming Dragons. They have secured the victory. They only lost their areas, while the Odin's voicemail team has lost their links and their logi.
Makes me kind of wonder what happened to the dual Abaddons. I would have assumed they were going to be able to do a bit more damage than we saw out of them. And that
I
Oracle
think
dropped
it's-
like a wreck.
I think that dummy has a reactive armor hardener. So it just
Yeah.
kept getting more and more EM resist until they couldn't break it anymore. Do see them having applied DPS on their own Neras, but he's
He's
still
tanking back up.
holding fairly well, and
Vengeance is about to
Logi's
drop.
ship has a small signature, so if it's just flying around with an AB, then a balance will struggle to track it.
Looking at its speed, that is what he's doing. Let me see the Vengeance going very low. He popped only 3 or 2 ships actually left for Farming Dragon. Or actually, no, who's Team Blue? Odin voice. I got it wrong. And that Abaddon is dropping really fast, which honestly is kind of surprising. I would have assumed he would be tanking harder even without any reps.
Well, might have been some rather ganky Abaddons with maybe 2 or 3 heat sinks, getting a max amount of damage out of them. Since Abaddons are normally not ships you want to primary.
Or a local tank. That was a rep we saw.
Yeah, most likely have an ancillary armor repair. And now the last ship of the Odin's voicemail, the Paladin in Abaddon is taking heavy damage, being the last man standing, and hopefully ready to go to Valhalla to celebrate even if they were defeated.
I mean, with today's performance, I can kind of see why they're called Odin's voicemail. He's not returning their calls.
Most definitely.
I think this is just going to be a hard win for Farming Dragon. No way this one Abaddon can pull this back here. We'll see.
It's been a cleanup job for a while now. When the Odin voicemail team lost their logi, they really struggled to stay alive while they couldn't break anything else.
And that's that. This match is over with a full sweep, almost, by Farming Dragons against Odin's voicemail. I believe they only lost that one Ares. Good fights
Okay.
go out in local.
Yeah, welcome back to kind of our commentary desk here here at the Anger Games second open practice. Wingnut, you had an interesting comment about triangles and real ships a little bit before this match, and we did in fact see one of those triangles. Do you think that was a sensible decision?
I'm not particularly sure. I think the main problem with that comp they brought a full laser setup against a ship with a reactive armor hardener. It was the moment they did that, unless they could break it quickly, which they couldn't, they were done. But I will say that Dominic's was a great play on the other team. It was the exact counter they needed. I don't know if you guys saw, but it was neuting one of those Abaddons out for a good half that fight. Whether he fully neuted them out or just kept ruining their day, he kept just surviving long enough to get his resist high enough. At that point, he just won. I also say as well, just on top of that, those Ishtars, I love them. I love them to bits. That was actually probably the best pick they could have made.
I'm just glad I finally get to saw Dami here.
And it won!
See, Dami right now has 100% winning rate and the most banned ship.
Oh yeah, confirm absolute pro shit. But yeah, Zalmad's still not real logi.
I don't think that's fair. I think this Armzad is a real Logi ship. It's honestly my favorite logistics cruiser just because it's so pretty. You gotta give it style points.
Yeah. But yeah, I was gonna say it was Fwaming Dragons who won that one. Their team played that like really, really well. A little like slow in terms, but that's probably because the ships were slow. But they did it right. I absolutely loved watching it. I don't like the Abaddon picks though. I don't know if you guys agree with me there, but I don't like the Abaddons at all.
I think that could have worked. It just was pretty much the worst comp for them to go up against. If they were going up against something like the Mimitar Rush maybe, or the Shield Heavy Missile fleets, I think they would have done a lot better. But the Brick Tank armor is not great for them.
I still don't think so, because I feel like I didn't have enough control to really make those large lasers tell, and that's the problem with like lasers. EM, therm, lock, and the tracking is dog. I just feel like it's really hard to find a comp that works without the support to go with it, and bringing two Abaddons, they couldn't bring the support.
Yeah,
I'm just going to
used
ask
up a lot of
really
points
quickly.
there.
Are monitors an allowed ship choice?
Monitors are not. Monitors are flag cruisers. They are not an allowed ship choice according to the rules.
Guessing we just have people showing up in Mar monitors to join the monitor pile we've got going in the middle of here.
Yes, I believe those are people looking to watch the matches live. But yes, talking about next match. Next match is aggressively mid-tier versus the Eire Engineers. We've got bands here, really interesting bands actually. Full T2 armor logi bands with the Guardian, the Zamazad, and the Aneros. And then bans from the other team being Rattlesnake, Barghest, and Cerberus. So banning some really high DPS shield battleships there. And then the Serb, obviously, with those rapid lights is murderous as well. What do people think?
I think that the Dominic's isn't banned. Shield tanked on me, anyone?
Obviously, Rattlesnake Barghest bans are pretty big. The Cerberus, not only is it good for rapid lights, it also be a very powerful and potent hand boat as well. So they're removing a lot of like good missile DPS. Could be close range, could be long range. They're just hard ships to fight.
Yeah, and as we're seeing on the stream, those locks just starting to come in. So we can talk a little bit about the comps here. We've got a Bifrost, Nightmare, Succubus, Phantasm, Succubus team here. So going all in on those Sanchez. And in opposition, we've got a Scorpion double Tengu Osprey comp with some Merlin support. Osprey is a really interesting choice because obviously that's a T1 Logi cruiser. What is the points trade to get those two Tengus and the Scorpion out on that comp a sensible decision? What do people think?
But the Osprey is going to be extremely squishy and has a bit of limited repair power. So I can see with these Nightmares, they can maybe frag it with the long range lasers. I don't see that Osprey will survive for long if it gets in too close.
I mean, you got to keep in mind, these are
30 seconds.
AD bonus ships against missile boats. It's not going to go well.
And not just that as well, like that very direct banning of all the shield logi. Now all of a sudden you've got an Osprey versing 3 laser ships. That's just perfect. He's forced them into shield and put them exactly where you wanted.
So we do have a countdown coming in local of less than 15 seconds. So at this point, Miz and Wingnut, you're commentating this match. So let's hand that over.
Yeah, the match has begun, and we're seeing links coming up for both teams as the succubus on the red team are burning in, while blue team are pulling back.
Yeah, I expect we'll see a reasonably aggressive moves from these Sancha ships. Because they obviously have the AB bonus, they can just kind of nullify a lot of the damage coming in. Seeing some shots going on to a Merlin trying to go for tackle, but he's being repped up to full. Succubus is the same thing. Can't see.
The strong thing about these succubus is that you can't stop them with scrams. They'll just keep going
Oh yeah, only webs will stop him, and even then, it's like it will keep going and keep tanking because it will keep getting that sig reduction.
We have the vigil at 100k from the beacon, so they're getting closer to the arena edge. So they're going to have to turn, otherwise they're going to get crushed against. See, one sucker was
Yeah.
already getting popped, and the Osprey is taking heavy damage.
Yep, and the Succubus has got the Tengu tackle down right now, so looks like he's deliberately picked out that target. We can see the Phantasm's also rolling in. Looks like they're grabbing the Osprey. Yep. So the Osprey is going to start being in an absolute world of hurt.
At the same time, that succubus is taking a massive
Yeah.
amount of damage. Even though they have the AB bonus, they have been webbed down and painted, and it's
Yeah,
now
and
having
a
a swarm
scimitar.
of.
They have all the benefits in the world. This Succubus with good piling should be able to survive. They've got a bloody scimitar wrapping them. There's no way this guy should be popping. And look at the Osprey. Oh, the Osprey's starting to get chunked. I think that's an extra ASB boost, you think?
Yeah, once he runs out of HPs, he's going to pop right away. He got the two phantasms right on top of him, and it looks
Yeah,
like
he's
the
gonna
red
get
team's scimitar has been caught. It's just having a Merlin and some. They already sent the repair bots to him, but the Scorpion Navy issue is having a smart bomb to clear these repair bots. So once they're gone, there's nothing to keep the scimitar alive.
Oh yeah, and he's right next to the scimitar as well. So the scimitar's going to take a long time to get away from that Scorpion Navy. I suspect this might be a Logi trade, so hopefully the I guess call the Sancha team at this point will be able to pick off a target while this is going on.
Yeah, they need to start clearing off some DPS if they're going to win the trading.
And it looks like they're going for the Scorpion Navy. They're going for the big ball play there. I'm a little worried about that because if the other team does not pick up their big ships, starts going for the smaller stuff, you might find that they're going to be losing this race real quick. Because Scorp Navies are just bricks.
So it looks like we got a second set of repair drones on the scimitar, just keeping him alive a little bit longer. The longer he stays alive, the better the chances are for the red team. If they can get that Scorpion Navy down before they lose the scimitar, they're going to be in a strong leading position.
I would say almost they're pretty much going to be in a winning position there. That's going to be a lot of DPS and tank removed from the field. That scimitar is still holding on. They're now both sitting in armor. This race is going well for them. I think even now, if the scimitar dies, they're already in the driver's seat.
Yeah, most definitely. Once the Scorpion is down there, the aggressively Midtier, which is a Road Capel team, they have lost so much of their DPS. They have the two tankers remaining and then just a Vigil for Paints and a Merlin and a Bifrost, but neither of these small ships are going to do much DPS.
As the Merlin just gets like 2 shot, just obliterated. Yeah, at that point, I think it's going to be done for them. They have to try and take down a Nightmare and a Phantasm with missile boats. Good luck, buddy. You're going to be definitely running uphill on that one.
So this is like one of these situations where a laser setup does well because these tankers and every shield ship, they have a weak EM resistance, with the exception of the scimitar. But
I think that as well. That's a good setup from the bands alone. They deliberately deleted all the really good T2 logi, all the armor logi. Just removed it all. If you either pick frigates or you pick a T1, or they go shield, which is the other option.
But the thing is, it was actually the aggressively mid-tier team that banned out all the armor setup.
Yeah, it didn't quite go according to plan, but I suspect the other team saw that and went, perfect, let's go anti-shield.
So I'm not sure if the Eire engineers actually wanted to do a Sancha roleplay setup, or they simply just
Adapted.
wanted to do this to be really strong against missiles, because these AB bonus ships are going to mitigate a lot of missile damage while doing a lot of EM damage in return to these missile ships.
So, considering this Vigil has been painting the Succubus is still alive. He's being shot by a Tengu, he just doesn't care. He's about to go down, but he took so long to get killed just for a single Succubus.
Yeah, they still have the two Phantasms and a Nightmare shooting that Tengu. So it's just one DPS ship remaining on the aggressively mid-tier team. And then it's just the Bifrost and the Vigil, and they're not going to kill much. I'm not even sure if the Bifrost has guns.
I don't think it does. I'm having another quick look. I don't think I saw any last time. Yeah, it's got nothing at all. I don't think even the Vigil has anything, so... At this point, they're just going to be dancing around these Sancha ships. Oh, wait, hold on. The Vigil's got a single light missile launcher. You've got this, bro. I believe in you. You can do it.
It certainly has to overheat your belief to get them
Very
any
much so.
chance. Bifrost is almost out of shield.
Oh yeah, these are the few laser ships that I will definitely say I've got. Like they can apply on their own without much help required because they can just maneuver as their own.
I don't really think
Bifrost.
this Sancho setup would be strong against armor setups or rush setups or anything
Absolutely
like that. I
not.
think that this is a setup you can use against missile setups, but anything else is going to struggle. And we see the Vigil micro jump driving out of the arena, trying to do a Casper. So he is out, and the red team, Eire engineers, took the victory.
Oh yeah, they brought the right comp for the job for sure.
Okay, so we are back here at our commentary desk. That was the second match of the evening. The very interesting Sancho roleplay comp winning quite convincingly there. I think they only lost a Logi and 2 Succubuses, taking on that Scorpion Navy double Tengu. Howard, what did you think to that fight? That was really interesting.
I honestly thought that went exactly as I expected it to. It's not a good day for missile boats when you're going up against AB bonus ships, is it?
No, it's never a good day, especially when you're shooting into, as Ms. pointed out, those relatively EM weak shield ships. And Ms., why not? You seemed really really excited about that. What was your take on that match? Did you expect it to go the way it went?
The moment I saw Osprey, I knew it. This is done. This is done the moment they warped on grid. The Osprey was just going straight into the exact things perfectly designed to kill it.
I must say, when I first saw the Nightmares on grid, I was like, this is not going to go well for them because Nightmare is generally not a good tournament ship. But seeing what they're up against, then yes, suddenly their chances were greatly improved, and we saw in the end that it did work out for them to have the AB just shuffle around and shoot some lasers at the Kalai ships.
Yeah, and a bit of an anticlimactic end to that match there, with that Vigil just slightly boundarying, not even an attempt at the record. Vigil friend, you did really well, but next time, take your micro jump into the history books.
We believe in you.
The record is still there to be made.
How are you even keeping track of that? I'm assuming it's around
Swear.
100 kilometers outside the boundary.
I think
Word of
we're at 226 or something for the record.
Can you
We
double MJD jump? Can I use the mobile jump beacon and activate a personal MJD?
I don't think so.
I don't
Only
know.
one can be done at once, I believe.
I think you're going to pop as soon as you go outside.
Yeah.
So when one go off, then you pop before the next one goes off. Unless you somehow can manage to get them both jump in the same tick.
Or one tick after, perhaps. Like this is potential. Some guy like this is Eve. Whenever we think, oh, this can't be done, it'll be done. Someone will figure out some way of doing it. It's just going to be a question of when and how.
Yeah, we're waiting to see that one. Interesting thing from Twitch chat. Apparently, one of the Tengus burnt out its guns quite early on in that match.
Ouch.
I don't think that mattered in the slightest in that fight. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't see that changing really anything there.
I mean, I can see it. I don't know, go for the simi earlier, right? Might be able to melt him down then. I don't know. I agree with you. I don't think it would have changed the outcome given the pretty hard counter they had going against. It would have been prettier, maybe.
I think that confused me. Like you said, it was that the guys who flew with the Osprey were the guys who banned out the armorology, right?
Yeah,
is that
so
correct?
you would have assumed they were expecting something like that.
Yeah,
Yes.
like if you ban out all the armorology, but then you bring the worst shield ship as far as I'm concerned, like you bring the one that can't really run on its own, it requires help. You not even brought a T2 one, you brought a T1. If they ban that out and then pick that, I'm very confused.
That is what happened there, yes. That team was responsible for those T2 Logi bans.
It's
I don't
possible
know,
they banned themselves into a corner.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Miz can say something better here, but I feel like banning out those, but then picking potentially one of the worst shield ships in the situation, rather than a scimitar or even a basilisk.
I'm pretty
Why?
sure they just got out drafted completely. They didn't want to see an armor setup and had this shield setup with a lot of points spent of these tankers and the scorpions. So they're hoping to get up against a shield setup they can break, even though they have a weaker logic themselves. And then they just face this Sancha-based laser setup that just went approach F1 and haste their logic.
Yeah.
The ultimate of all tactics, approach F1.
So we are now starting to see the next teams come up. For this next match, we've got 2 rigs, 1 ship in blue, and Test Alliance, please ignore in red. For bans here, we've got Healer, Barghest, Deimos, Rattlesnake, Rook, and Falcon. So Test banning the Rook and the Falcon there. They really don't want to see that ECM. While, again, high DPS battleship, shield battleships being banned out. What's people's take on these bans?
Well, the test captain Soldarius has a really strong hatred for ECM comps. So it's really clear that he doesn't want to see them. So he's banning out 2 of the strongest ECM ships in the format.
But he leaves the Scorpion, though.
Also worth noting that the ECM modules in this format are only allowed on ECM bonus ships, which does include the Widow, and we are seeing
Dual Widow.
we are seeing dual Widow brought by 2 rigs, 1 ship here. Also 2 healers.
I mean,
Gotta bring a ratting boat.
Boys, healers are banned.
who knows? Maybe they're just MOAs disguised, right? I mean,
up
I've been
there.
passed a few 100 ISK under the table, so
So they banned
don't say anything.
healers themselves and then they brought them. Looks like the referees need to sort this one out.
Yeah, 2 rigs. You have made a mistake.
Banned it. I guess they wanted to bring their ratting ships to the fight.
I mean, 2 rigs, 1 ship is like alliances like Lord and Fraternity and have people from those groups. And I know that these people really love their healers for crabbing. So maybe they had a real struggle getting the 2 pilots out of their healer. And
Yeah, just wrestle those capsules out of there, boys. You gotta do it.
I want to watch these widows drop a bunch of drones and pretend that they're rattlesnakes, honestly. Though they do have rapid heavies, so it's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I would have expected
Still a
torpedoes,
widow.
honestly.
Yeah, it's
So-
still a Widow, though.
Soft General, can I get a ruling on what the hell's going on here?
Apparently, this is a language barrier problem because the team captain of 2 rigs, 1 ship did not understand what banning the healer means.
Right. Okay.
I mean, if the
Great.
red team's okay with this, we can just call it good. Though if their
David,
doctrine is designed to go up against anything but Gilas, it might be a problem.
Yeah, let's I assume Stoth and General are talking to the teams, and we'll get an update on that in due course. Meanwhile, let's talk a little bit about this opposing comp, the one that Test has brought. We've got Double Damnation, Zamzad again, with
Fake.
2 Blackbirds, a Magus,
Message
and a
stripping.
Vengeance. Yeah, Wingnut, fake, you say?
I will say this is
He
probably the one
doesn't
of the few
want to
comps.
acknowledge the superiority of the Zarmzad.
I will say in this situation here, though, this is probably one of the few comps I would have actually liked as a Zarmad, because the 2 Damnations are absolute bricks. Unless they fitted
So-
them differently. It's the perfect ship for a Zarmad.
2 rigs, 1 ship are gonna switch to a different comp really quick.
Okay.
Okay.
We'll be back shortly.
So 5 minutes.
Right, wonderful. We can talk for another 5 minutes. Wingnut here is being called fake by our wonderful stream host Galaxia, so that's fun.
So this is a
But
great
yeah, I would say-
opportunity for them to fit a lot of CBOs with the ECM script in their midst.
Yeah, they'll probably
That's true.
cheese it. This is the way it's gonna go. We all know it's gonna happen, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think Damnation's
not
probably the one
biased.
ship I'd agree with Zarmad's.
I gotta
Damnation's
say,
probably
sorry,
go for it.
I gotta say, Test is going to 100% win this. I mean, I'm not blue to them or anything, but hey.
I still don't like the Samas in this setup because when the Blackbirds jam something, there's a chance that something is going to shoot back at the Blackbirds. So if there's one thing shooting one Blackbird and one thing shooting the other Blackbird, then suddenly you have split DPS. Maybe have a third
Very
thing
true.
on top of the damnation. So
I mean, against the
ECM in this
Gilas,
situation, you can force people to swap targets, but that's not how a Samas works. You don't want people to swap targets. You want to force them on shooting the same target.
That is very true as well. Like the whole Zarmad Damnations, I agree. Putting them with the Blackbirds where you want the enemy to start changing targets, the Zarmad can't respond. So you're very much right there. Like going with Blackbird and Zarmad, don't get it. If it was one Blackbird, yeah, maybe. You can keep repping the Blackbird and pray they don't shoot the Damnations, but two? Nah.
It's also
I mean, one
worth
thing to say
noting.
here.
It's also worth noting that since I think it was early last year, you can now lock back ships that are jamming you with ECM. So that's not going to save those Blackbirds.
One thing to notice is the Blackbirds are normally shield tanked, and it's possible. Like honestly, they're probably running full ECM, right? So they're going to be armor tanked in the lows. They do have missiles fit, so maybe this is a total meme, and they're actually hard tackle. Who knows?
I've seen
You
some
got a bunch
brutal
of
hard
mids
tackle
for
like
what?
that before.
It's light missile launches, so they're going to be easy to fit in. They just give a little bit extra DPS without costing too much. Like light missiles can shoot very far and just tickle away some EHP.
Yeah. I agree with what Cyclo said in chat. Blackbirds are generally not shield fit. You want every single mid for a prop and then full of ECM. It's generally armor tanked, 1600 plates. That's why I like missiles.
I think I'll have to concede here. One thing is,
I'm loving watching
Elbow
it.
isn't he their FC? Maybe I'm not being very smart here, but I've got to say I do love his skin. Cameraman, you have to take a moment to appreciate the skins they've got going. I am
Skin
disappointed in
game
the Black.
is strong, and well, as we know, skins provide an extra 10% DPS to any ship wearing skins. So
I love how you said that. The moment you started talking about that, one of the Blackbirds immediately started changing from the basic skin to an actual skin.
Yeah,
The moment you started talking about it, he heard it. It's like, nope.
I was gonna have to name one of them. One of them's using exoplanets, which is dubious at best, but I'll let it go now.
I don't know.
Well,
The
test
exoplanet
server,
skins
man,
are
you can
quite
get
nice.
any skin.
All right, so we've got 2 rigs landing back on the grid now. They're just getting organized and coming in. Again with the Osprey, but bringing a Nightmare, a pair of Manticores, a Caracal, and we're just waiting on one of those. There's a second Caracal and one more player just on the way.
This is going to be such an interesting fight, if you ask me, because those 2 bombers bring a decent chunk of DPS, but you're not going up against any big targets. The biggest target's the Damnations, and those are pretty tanky.
Galaxia, the neutral is on a team.
The Manticore should be able to apply Damnations pretty well. Damnations have the sig size of a bloody moon and the speed of one too. So they should be able to apply pretty well, but even then, that's the best target you've got to shoot, and they're not particularly high DPS targets, so it's like, why are you shooting a Damnation?
They've got a bunch of smaller stuff too here. Like, we've got the dual Caracal Manticore. We've seen 2 Nightmares, which is going to be not great against this armor comp, I would say. I mean, technically, the Amar Tech 2 resist hole is EM, right? So maybe a little bit better than normal?
The Nation is still going to have a really thick tank. And they are going to catch reps really well, having high resist.
And the resist
And you
hold
have
for
to
P3
remember
armor, by
that
the way, is thermal.
the Blackbirds can possibly outrange these Nightmares, and they can jam them. So if the
I don't know if they
Damnations
want.
pin down the Nightmares, well, hoping that the Damnations do have a web because they can't scram the Nightmares. But if they
Okay.
can do that, they can just take apart the 2-Rich 1-ship team.
So we do have a countdown here, so we're going to hand this over to Wing and Howard for the commentary.
Lovely, mate. And we're already off and going. Can already see the Vengeance burning straight in. Love it.
If they can just pop that Osprey almost instantly, that's going to be very bad for Team Blue
Oh
here.
no. Watch the Vengeance tank. It's going into 2 Caracals. Oh, Blackbird's now being shot straight into armor, so he's already pissed off one of the big ships. Vengeance already going into armor as well. Hopefully he can be saved. We're seeing DPS drones onto him. Nightmare
He's
still
actually
tossing out
gone
a nuke.
for a Caracal.
Yeah, that's a good call. Tackle down Caracal, kill a lot of DPS very quickly, if possible.
Except there's no tackle mods going off. Did he get completely neuted?
Potentially so. The Vengeance does get a capacitor bonus, but I suspect that's not going to help him against a pretty heavy nuke. There's the Logi showing up for the Vengeance.
EOSs are not the EOSs, the Damnations are whacking into the Caracal with rapid heavy. Both of the Nightmares are going into these Blackbirds, which are dipping down in a half armor.
Oh, they're getting real pissed with the Blackbirds. Now, the Zarmad's going to try and wrap both these guys up, and since they're shooting eat both of them, the Zarmad's going to have a really rough time.
Might
See,
be
one Blackbird's
one.
getting high armor, the other one's going low armor, so now he's going to switch over, try and save the second one. Is he going to switch? Yeah, there's the switch, I think. Going to give it a try. Now you also see
I don't know,
Mega's
one
also getting
cycle
hit as
maybe.
well. Nah, I don't think he's
Nah.
going to have it. Nope. Zarmad was not the right call, I think. Now he's have to just keep all his reps on the other one. Don't even try and swap. Just put them all on that second Blackbird.
One thing to say here is this Osprey is pretty safe right now. The red team's running full rapid heavies. They don't have any range, and
Oh.
that Blackbird drops like a rock.
Oh no! Well, that's probably almost a good thing. Almost, because now they have to worry about trying to rep 2 different Blackbirds, and they can just try and keep their DPS core alive. Also, they're hitting the Ventus back up again.
His Armzad's taking damage, and
Nope.
he is in
Never mind.
perfect range for those Nightmares. I think this is a terrible position for him to be in, but he
Ooh.
does want to get closer to those Damnations.
Good amount of DPS on a Manticore now. Bring him into Hull, and he's gone. Perfect. They finally got one of the small ships down.
Caracal's about
I
to
just saw
drop
a
as well.
bomb There's a bomb just got yeeted too. I don't know where that's going.
He had it set somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Just if you're going to go down, take something with you. Caracal now going through his shield into armor.
Tanking surprisingly
potential.
well for being shot by heavy missiles or heavy assault missiles.
And that's the thing as well. Like Damnations are not known for amazing DPS. They're known for being, more tankier than most battleships are. So they don't really have much DPS on that comp that I can see. So I suspect that Caracal, if he can just get some distance, which he can't, he might survive.
Vengeance is being hit by Nightmares and tracked. There he goes. One shot, he's down.
Pop.
Caracal
Yeah.
drops as well.
I don't know. This is close as hell, but I think at this point it's just going to keep on going for
I don't think the red
Damnations.
team has enough DPS to break anything here, honestly. How long
They
it
have to
took them
catch
to
the
burn
Osprey.
down one Caracal. Yeah, it's not
They got to
looking
catch
good.
the Osprey. It's the only thing they can do. Just get the Osprey, nothing else.
I mean,
Take
the
over anything
Magus
else
is
they're gonna
going for
lose.
it. I don't know if he's
He
got
got it.
any tackle, though. Oh, there's a scram.
Yep. Yeah, I
They
think at the
might
percent
be able to
Magus
do
would
it.
be pretty aggressive. They got potential for sure. The Osprey will probably be XLASB fit, but that means he hasn't got long. So even if Damnation has weak DPS, it's just enough. The Zymatch just to stay alive. The Zymatch just got to run away and just stay alive. Because he can come back and rep these Damnations up
They've
real quick.
dropped Scram in order to save the Magus. Magus had to burn back towards his arms at. And I don't think the Damnations are quick enough to catch back up to the Osprey.
I don't think so. I saw him go a bit fast. No, they'll go fast enough. He's burning in good enough. He's almost on him. Yep, I think I see web on him now. So, yep, Osprey is caught.
We have only one Damnation here, though, on this guy. The other one's on the Nightmare.
Is he doing that willingly?
I mean, he's orbiting. He's got a Scram. He's not tackled. He can move.
I suppose
They're
he's just trying
probably
to hold
betting on
Nightmare
enough
down.
DPS from one Damnation to break this Osprey.
Maybe. Also, like the Magus is just being like surrounded by two Nightmares and being pounded upon. He's still alive. He's still
And the
holding.
Osprey is dropping surprisingly fast. Do you think he reloaded that XLASB?
I don't even know if he used them all the charges up, to be honest. Like, I don't think he got shot before this. He's gone. This is actually going for the damnations.
I think he
When
might
you
have
get to the meta.
actually accidentally reloaded.
Yeah, maybe he maybe like loaded one charge or something. But yeah, he didn't seem to cycle much at all. Maybe I missed it. The Nightmare's going to kill
Or
the
he
Zarmad. They have to kill
overcycled
the Zarmad off.
while he wasn't taking damage. Who knows?
Yeah. They got to kill the Zarmad off now, these Nightmares. If they don't, they're done. Because these damnation get on their guns to some degree and just be a nightmare. A nightmare to a nightmare. Very funny.
I think the Zarmad is actually probably going to be able to tank. He's doing decent right now. That's for sure. Well, the question
looks like
is,
he's
how
doing his best.
long can he keep his cap up?
And he's doing his best as well to keep Transversal as high as possible. He's keeping his micro drive on, burning at max speed. Probably hurting his sig, but at the same time, if you just keep up the speed, maybe he can outtrack the guns.
He's being neuted by two.
from both of them.
So yeah,
Yeah. Both of them are nuding him.
not pretty.
I actually see one Nightmare just chasing as well, which is great.
He's trying his best. He is webbed and scram. The scram doesn't hurt. The web does.
I don't know if you would agree with me, but if I was this Magus, I'd be going over to that Zarmad and trying to remove those DPS drones. There's 2 flats of mediums on him. You might as well keep him alive as much as you can. You're not going to be helping the big fight here.
That's true. I mean, as it stands, the Magus, he's got his links, right? Going over and making sure the Zarmzad's within that link range is probably important for him to do here, I'd say.
Yeah, he's trying to keep hold on tackle on the Caracal.
I mean, he's going to win the Caracal fight.
I don't
He's
know
got
if
blasters
gonna...
and drones.
Yeah, I suppose, but Caracal's got rapid lights, mate.
Well, he's tanking hard.
But it looks
His
like the
sig
rest of the team
probably
is
is-
trading for the Nightmare. The rest of the team's going
I
for the
think he's got
Nightmare.
an
He's going
AB.
for a Caracal.
The
rest of the
Magus,
team
I
going
think,
for a
has an
Nightmare.
AB, and he's just sig tanking. Zarmzad is dropping a lot more. I wonder if the Nightmares have neuted him out finally.
And that's what I
He's
mean. Like,
dropping
yeah,
fast.
he might win this Caracal fight, but in doing so, he might end up losing them that Zarmad. He needs to get over there and just give him that little bit of extra time.
That Nightmare, though, is dropping. He might die before the Zarmzad does. It's going to be really close.
Oh, there's a little boost, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
It
Yeah,
might
see
be
the
if the
self boost
Zarmzad
now.
drops.
Yeah, that's the Zarm going to be gone before the Nightmare. That could be enough, but these damnations are still just super tank, like just ridiculously tanky.
With how quickly this Nightmare is dropping, I think he's ran out of cap.
No, he's still cycling. He's still trying. It's just that his boost is not big enough.
It's a shame.
he's-
Goodbye, Nightmare.
Maybe these are high DPS damnations. Maybe like polarized. or
Heavy
something.
assault missile. Who knows? We haven't seen any DPS go on to the damnations. It'd be hilarious if these are polarized.
I know, right? That'd be the biggest like upset. Like, oh yeah, they're just polarized damnations. No one saw it coming.
We're gonna
It's
watch
okay,
this
it's
one
okay.
Nightmare probably. Actually, they're going for the Caracal. So we're gonna watch a Caracal die very fast.
Yeah, they're gonna pick off the quickest DPS now. They've got rid of one of the big ships. Pick up the quick DPS, then get back out of there.
I really want the Nightmare just to take a pot shot at the damnation that's kind of moving slowly, just to see
Yeah.
where it gets put in armor. And it
also,
looks
I
like
thought-
he's decently tanky.
Fair enough. Now, I was talking about the Megas, saying he probably should have gone for the drones and the Zarmad, but let's be honest, he's done really well here. He's still holding that Caracal down every once in a while. Like he's still alive too. I don't know how he's still alive with a Caracal really unhappy
Prayers.
with him.
The Minotaur
bravo.
spirit of taking everything with duct tape.
But it's not a Minotaur ship.
Hey, they can embody the spirit of it.
Yeah, well, there goes the Caracal. And the Magus is still alive. Bravo, my man, bravo.
One shot with Scorch at that range, he's probably dead, Nightmare. Come on. Take him out.
He's building up speed. He should be right now. So now these damage going to burn back to the Nightmare. Honestly, the Nightmare probably wants to play for distance for a while, try and keep away from the... I think there's a heavy assault.
He's close to an MJD almost. Or never
there's a
mind, he's
heavy
close to a
assault.
wreck. I got confused.
Fair enough.
Magus is
And there
about to
goes the
die.
Magus. He dies to drones. The drones I told him to kill earlier. I told you! You should have got them!
I think we're just going to watch this poor Nightmare eat it, though.
Yeah,
He can try
it
his
doesn't
best,
matter at this
but
point.
I think he's lost.
It's done. It's done. There's nothing he can do at this point.
Damnations will get too close. Those missiles will do so much damage for this one Nightmare to take. Even with the SIG bonus, it's not going to be enough.
1 minute.
We got
We
one
have 60
remaining,
seconds
so
left, so maybe he can
might
take long
survive.
enough.
Maybe it's possible.
Burn for MJD unit, I guess, and try to meme him.
Interesting thing as well is that with his AB, he is about as fast, if not maybe a little bit faster than the Damnation. So they can't really get under his guns as it is. So he can.
They're actually
just
not
keep
trying
flying.
to.
Yeah,
They're currently keeping range at him.
I think that's because they've realized they can't get under his guns. He's going to be able to keep tracking on at all times.
Might
So
as
they're
well
just
just
making it
stay
very awkward.
scorched.
They're just making it very awkward for him. One's burning straight up, the other one's burning at an odd angle as well. Just not giving him a clean shot. Which is honestly well played for gigantic brick ships.
I mean, honestly, at this range, I don't think it matters if that one damnation is burning straight up or sitting still. I think the Nightmare's tracking him perfectly fine.
You never know. Actually, I think that, hold on. One of those detonations, I believe, is actually out of missile range. Let me just double check. No, never mind. It hit. Just my graphical bug on my end.
They need to fix the whole turrets missing. If you're ever in a Triglavian ship, you're shooting something. Every other shot looks like a miss. So weird.
And we
Especially for
timed
tricky
out.
ships.
And that's the timeout. Good fight in local. We got a damnation kind of low. Who knows how this could have gone if the match just kept going.
I already know, mate. Nightmare would have gone down. Damnation wouldn't have died. Calling that
Who
right now
knows?
without even troubles.
Maybe the Nightmare had, I don't know, cap boosters and the other Nightmare that died, right?
You're still going to die. It doesn't matter how much cap he has.
Damnation's run out of missiles.
Well, that was a really interesting matchup. I think the first match in these open practices to ever go to a points decision. It should be noted here that hopefully on Thunderdome we will have reverse tie-dye working for the end of matches. So that would have been an interesting way to really turn that match on its head and have those damnations really burn into those into that nightmare there.
Well, normally reverse tie-dye only kicks in if they're tied on points.
Yes.
CCP should have
there we go.
reverse tie-dye in just all systems by default. That would be interesting. Game moves 50% faster.
Make it
So
one of those events.
Servers explode 50% faster.
In low sec. In low sec for the next week. 100% speed bonus to just everything.
At all times. Even the guns, like just everything.
Right. That would be
Would that
interesting, honestly.
Out of curiosity, would that include the sentry guns?
Oh yeah, it would include reverse tie-dye includes everything.
Oof.
Except Titan Doomsday's timers, which would because Titan Doomsday timers work weird.
Really
well.
curious idea there. I hope CCP are listening and can make notes.
And never do it. Please.
Hey CCP, give yourself a massive headache and also possibly break the server completely. Let's go.
We want game go fast, please.
So
Ah,
with looking back at the bands here, we saw Rook and Falcon banned, and then we saw two Blackbirds come in. Obviously, the Blackbird is the T1 version of the Rook and the Falcon. Was that a sensible choice for the test team? Do you think it worked
I have
out
to
in their
say
favor?
yes, but if they were goons, I'd have to say no. I feel like honestly they might have been baited into bringing those Blackbirds. They might have thought that the enemy team was going to rely on something that was really vulnerable to ECM, and they're like, you know what? If you don't want ECM, we'll just bring Blackbirds. That will show you. And meanwhile, the
They
other
were
team
the
was
ones
just
that banned
laughing.
They were the ones that banned the Rook Falcon.
Oh, you're right. Never mind. In that case, I'm going to say maybe they just were hoping ECM was a lot stronger than it actually is. Not sure.
I mean, I'll see if Miz
think
disagrees
that
with me, but I suspect it was a bait.
I think what I wanted
Maybe
to do is ban out the ECM that is stronger than the Blackbirds and then bring the Blackbirds themselves. Hoping that even if they face ECM, then they will have the strongest ECM on the team. So I would also like to point out that the thing that I predicted with the Psalmist was actually what happened. They lost the Blackbirds and lost the Vengeance when they split the DPS. But luckily, the Mages and the Damnations could claw them back to victory, being able to go in and kill the backline after 1 week. So 2-rich 1-ship team.
Because Zamad's not a real logi ship, man. It just can't hang. It just can't hang with the big boys.
Well, on the other hand, in this situation, Samus tanked for so long, and that's something only the Samus can. So at least they made use of the strength there, but against a stronger team, this wouldn't have been enough. They would have lost the Blackbirds, and then they've been killed off.
Yeah, because as you said, like the Zarmad tanked pretty well, but if you think about it from a different perspective, if the Zarmad was able to do its job better, it wouldn't have needed to tank so well. It would have kept the Blackbirds alive. So it's like, Sure, it did well at fixing up its own mistake. It's not a real ship. I'm messing with you guys.
I will say I do appreciate the Magus doing as much as he did. You kind of got to give it to tackle in these formats because when you're running slower ships, being able to get tackle on something and tackle being able to stay alive is massive. A lot of times I think we see tackle just playing way too aggressively and they end up biting the dust because of it.
And not just that, he kept doing it over and over and over. And he was tackling caracals, things that are designed to kill him. And he just kept on doing it. Didn't care. Logi's dead. Don't care. Keep doing it. Bravo.
I've gotta
like,
I've
seriously.
gotta guess he was dual prop based off the way he was moving. He was quick, but all at the same time he was sig tanking those caracals hard while moving at AB speed. So I don't know.
Maybe 10 men fit. I mean, I didn't see the fit, unfortunately.
I actually haven't seen any of the fits. Do they link them to us by any chance? Or are they keeping them secret?
They are keeping them secret.
That's not nice. Come on, get the poor commentators in here.
Yeah, so next match, we've just got one of the teams landing on the grid just now. Let's not talk about the ships that are on the grid just yet, but the next match is RamRod Shenanigans in blue versus If All Else Fails in red. This is our first match of the evening that has a double ban, which means that we have 7 total ships banned here for this next match. Rattlesnake, Eos, Healer, Zarmazd, Barghest, Balgorn, and Loki. So we've got 3 battleships banned. Then we've got the Eos, first time we've seen an Eos ban. We've got that Zarmazd ban, and then the Loki there. Interesting to note that so far tonight we've had 2 matches with the Zarmazd banned, and when it hasn't been banned, it's been brought. Wingnut, what do you think's going on here? Why are people so in love with this Zarmazd?
It's a fancy new it's a fancy new ship. And everyone's like, oh, it's pretty. It does good stuff. It's useless.
It's pretty,
But
and it's not
the one, thing,
useless.
the one thing I like about these bans, though, is they've banned a lot of big control ships for all spells. They banned out the Barghest, which is a good controlling battleship. Banned out the Balgorn, which is the same thing but doesn't move. And they banned out a Loki as well, just because, I don't know, it's a Loki. Screw those things.
I want to kind of see a Vindicator then.
Yeah, exactly. Just bring in the Vindy, man. I may be
Or-
control, but only at short range.
Dominic's, right? Dominic's isn't banned this time. Dominic's has a 100% win rate so far.
Dominic's is not banned, and it does have that 100% win rate. That'd be really interesting to see a utility Dommy coming in at some point.
I just
I
want
kinda
to see
think
something
Dominic-
absolutely ridiculous, right? These are the practice matches. Bring something fun, like a full Stormbreaker or full Eden complete. Let's see how well that fares. But alas, I don't think any team is going to.
Yeah.
Matter
mean,
a
you
full
might as well
trig
just-
fleet, honestly.
If you're gonna bring
Can
in
we
a
can
full
we
Eden
have a
combat-
match like that? The winners of this today they go against each other. Edencom versus the Triglavia. We all know how that's going to end, but it'd be funny.
I mean, I could make that easy for you. Have all the in-cup ships warp on grid, and then click self-destruct. That's probably
You
about
gotta
the
give it
result.
to them. They'll tank a little bit, right? They have the high resists.
They'll kill themselves.
Eden
Yeah, I
Comp-
agree with the voice in
Okay.
the back of my head. I agree with that voice.
I think that they're too expensive. CCP, why did you make them cost so much and so difficult to manufacture? If they were Triglavian prices, honestly, I think we'd see them a lot more.
I think that's exactly why they made them that expensive, because trigs are a little ridiculous.
Well, the trigs aren't that expensive though. Like that's what I'm saying. If the
That's the point.
Edencom,
That's the point.
well, yeah.
The most
you're not
recent
gonna
one they made, they've learned
hate
the lesson. That's what I mean.
We had a little mistake. We need to set the team that's already in range to red. Set the wrong standing, sorry.
I'll let you know. I set my standings myself, and I didn't mess it up. So, haha.
That
Okay,
sounds like
oh.
Hoed just volunteered to manage our corporation standings for us. Hoed,
Oh, yeah, that's
What
what a
perfect.
I
wonderful
don't know
thing
how to
that
do
was you
that.
did.
No one has ever given me that much control over something for good reason too. I would suggest not doing that. It'd be a bad idea.
Sounds like a great idea to me.
So now that both teams are here, we can begin talking about it. We have Midtier Rush and a lot of other ships for blue team.
So our two different comps here, we do have that Sleipnir, double Sleipnir, double Cinnabol, Svipul, Minmatar Rush. And then the opposing team is a double Absolution, a Neros, double Blackbird comp.
Nurgle.
Seeing those, and the Nurgle as well. We've got the Trig ship in there. We've seen those Blackbirds again. And I think this is the first time tonight we've seen a double command ship comp go up against a double command ship comp. How do people feel about these command ships, and are they really useful ships, or are they, just good for the points?
They get a lot of bonuses that are quite nice. I mean, if you look at the Sleipnir's bonuses, it gets 10% to damage, 10% to fall off. Of course, the command length bonus, right? But also shield tank and another 10% projectile bonus. And it's pretty similar for the Absolution. So they do a lot of damage and a lot of tank.
I mean, we've all seen tournaments for the last 5 to 10 years almost. The Sleipnir has been and always will be king. It brings so many tools to the table that it's just, if you can bring it and it works in your comp, you bloody bring it, and you bring 2 of them every time. They're just powerful ships. There's nothing much more to say about that. They bring everything.
I will say that I think this is not a... It's going to be interesting. It's going to be a very bloody match. Both teams are going to be doing a ton of damage, shooting into each other's, with the exception of the Sleipnir, natural resist holes. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely to be
So-
noted as well that those Sleipnirs are going to get that XL ASB fit on there, most likely. So there's a lot of local tank in there to go along with their double Kirin. They've got 2 Kirins there.
I think those carrots are either going to die instantly or not do a lot of wrapping power.
So the RamRod Shenanigans did bring a setup that's actually quite similar to the one we just saw before, just with the absolutions instead of damnations and the real logic ship and Nurgle instead of the mages. So they're still hoping for this, having the ECM control with the Blackbirds, while the small ships screen stuff or tackle stuff, and the absolutions kill stuff. So it's like a common baseline. We see it before in tournaments, combining the command ship that can be really tanky ships be up in front, and then the ECM controlling the opposing setup, trying to make the life hell for them while giving the command ships absolute free reign to do whatever they want.
Okay.
Match starts in 15 seconds.
Galaxia, we need a switch over here, please. And brilliant. So we have the match starting, commentated now by Miz and Hoag.
Yes, the batch has begun, and it's going to be a bit of challenge because of standings. It looks like it actually got fixed now. You see that the red team, if all else fails, actually burning back in their Minmatar Rush setup. It's one thing you can do when you want to clear some tackle before, and then try and dodge around.
I'm going to hope that this Nurgle gets onto one of these ships, because that thing does silly amounts of damage once it ramps up.
Yeah, we're seeing drones being sent to the Blackbird, just trying to harass it a little bit. And I get pulled again, just 5 warrior. Not enough to kill the Blackbird.
We see jams being put on absolutely everything. Those Blackbirds are just jamming, I think, literally every red ship on game. I'm not sure if they're landing any, but who knows?
Yes, this is one of the strengths with the Logifreaks. You have 2 of them, so even if one gets jammed, you still have some ripping power. But you do have the option to jam one and then kill the other.
Both teams right now are tanking pretty dang hard. The red team is going for this Nurgle based off the drone ball, which seems to me like an interesting choice, given it's probably the tankiest ship on field right now.
So you have Altad and Discernible being pinned down by both of the Absolutions. So he's not going to last long. These laser ships are going to do a ton of damage against a hull that doesn't have much resist.
I think he's in a terrible spot. He got way too close, and while he does have decent autocannon tracking, those absolutions are just going to tear into his face. We do see
we do
one
have,
Blackbird being nuked. They switched off the Nurgle into the Blackbird. I don't think he'll tank.
We have Lafont in the Sleipnir being able to get around and then just go for these Blackbirds.
Blackbird down. Cinnable's about to drop too, though.
But the first Blackbird down, the second one is taking heavy damage, so this actually might be worth the trade. Like one Cinnable, which is just a small part of your DPS, trading that for the entire ECM of an ECM setup. So when the Blackbirds are going down, they're going to lose all their control.
And second Blackbird is down. That is not looking great for Team Blue here.
So you have the Oneers in a vulnerable position. It's not screened. I'm seeing the triple of Ren Shinva. She's going right for that Oneers, and they're going to tackle it and just start killing it, putting pressure on him.
Nurgle's also dropping pretty hard here too. Nurgle activates ADC. That's going to give him a few more seconds to tank, but only a few more seconds. He's not catching reps.
So the red team, I love the execution. They're doing everything right, and it's really paying off for them. They have, even though they lost one Cinnable, they have traded it for so much in return. They're getting into good position with the damage ships, got around these absolutions, and they're just tearing through the back line.
Rhaenyra is tanking not very well. Vengeance also having to activate ADC here. It's not going to be very pretty for him.
Yeah, this is the thing. When you have a Sleipnir shooting you, have two of them even, and a Cinnable, you are going to take a lot of damage, and even assault frigates can't mitigate that much damage when the Sleipnir are transversal matching them.
Honestly, the amount of DPS that they're being able to put onto the Sleipnir is absolutely abysmal. They're doing almost nothing. And being EM locked when you're trying to shoot something that has naturally insane EM resist, it's probably not the best thing for these poor absolutions.
No, so they're shooting something with high EM resist, and they are having two Kirins repaired at Sleipnir. And Sleipnir also has the XLSB, so they have a lot of things in their sleeve to keep that Sleipnir alive. In the meantime, there's only two absolutions remaining and the Vengeance. So they don't have the control.
The local tank.
So they're missing the control they had from the beginning, and without the ECM, these absolutions are going to have a hard time getting anything done. And the Vengeance has been caught by the Swivel, and even in a 1v1 situation, I would have put the money on the Swivel, but the Swivel is actually taking damage from the absolutions. Drop to the Swivel, but she's catching reps now from the Kirins. In the meantime, there's no one left to repair the Vengeance, so he's going to go down soon.
He's actually tanking a lot harder than I thought he would. He's gotten close enough to the Sleipnirs that they aren't able to track. And that absolution drops. It's just two ships left. Both Kirins alive and well for the red team. They're going to die terribly. And I think this is going to be a victory today for Team Red. Mimitar Rush against Amar and friends did not go very well.
Well, if all else fails, then you just bring a Mimitar Rush and burn down the enemy's backline. As we're seeing here, Alien Artemisa, the only remaining ship of the RamRod Shenanigans, taking heavy ammo damage, and he'll be going down soon.
Kind of ironic that we're seeing RamRod Shenanigans here being rammed by the Mimitar Rush.
Well,
and this is going to be this match here. I'm going to call it. No way. I mean, I could have called this a long time ago.
The Electus Mataya team are role-playing Drip on Tranquility.
He is tanking remarkably well for being up against just so much damage. But as I say that, he dies. So that's going to be a good fight in local. And, oh wait, did you guys actually... Eradicos, are you the guys who killed my Vargar? Man, I came to give you a good fight and you nuke me. Absolutely brutal. Anyway, that's outside of this. If you guys want to help my Vargar fund, feel free to donate. Let's move back to the event, shall we?
Okay, so we had RamRod Shenanigans being very, very, losing very badly there, losing their entire comp and only trading for a Cinnaball. Definitely not an ideal way to lose the fight. But yeah, that Minmatar rush setup just doing really well, stomping just all over the arena there. Wingnut, you were very impressed with the Sleipnir before that match. I think you were proved right.
Oh yeah, and I will say like that fight was essentially like it tilted one way quite a bit the moment those ships walked on grid, and then the way those white guys piloted those Sleipnirs as well just absolutely just finished it. Like there was potential they could have maybe lost, but the way they got around, killed off the Blackbirds, picked up all the support, like full on just textbook well done. You could write that down in a book and sell it for $100. It was I love it. It's a good ship done right. Like, what else is there to say about that?
One thing I've got to wonder is the Cinnaball, to me, seemed like an interesting choice. The Tech 1 faction ships are cheaper than the Tech 2 heaviest cruisers, right? So you've got that. Cinnaball gets the bonuses to warp speed, and I don't know, maybe that's useful in this tournament, but if I personally feel like the roll bonuses for the Cinnaball are just not great, but it goes to show how strong of a ship it is. The fact that it is chosen and used in tournament settings where the roll bonuses of that ship aren't really used.
Well, I think in this situation, Cinnaball is picked because it's extremely fast and still a decent amount of damage with having a utility high slot. Personally, I do not like it in tournament settings because it's so squishy. As we saw that when the first Cinnaball was tackled, it went down really fast. But if you can make use of it and avoid the heavy hitters trying to get into the back line and kill ships like ECM ships and Logi ships, then the Cinnaball can really shine. And we saw that happen here. I guess Ripple and the Cinnaball burning down these Blackbirds.
Yeah, Citadel does work well with that comp as well because you can also shoot all the way up to its lock range. You can fire a barrage at about 40-50k, so it's just works really well that it has enough range to be able to support its ships if needed. And then when they do go in for that full like charge with the rush, they can get right up to point blank and fight alongside the Sleipnirs, no worries. They're not the roll bonuses don't tend to help here, but the ship itself just works perfectly for the comp that it was in. I quite like it.
So one interesting thing is that if all else fails, actually lost to this setup in the previous open practice. They were flying a Vindicator-based setup and they were facing this Minotaur setup which they lost to. So now they took that setup and then used it and executed it flawlessly against this ECM comp. It was really great to see.
Oh yeah, they just like the way they just picked apart the ECM immediately. That is just that is textbook. That is absolutely perfect. They had the right ships to do it too. And you can see, like I was joking about the Zarmed before not being able to save the Logi. This one couldn't do it either. So maybe it's all Logi is incorrect. Remove Logi, you become DPS.
Well, when you have two Sleipnirs and some other Minotaur rush stuff on top of ECM ship, no Logi is going to be able to save you. Not even effects.
Yeah, so we have these next teams, Odin's voicemail and 2 rigs, 1 ship coming in on the grid. Let's talk about the bans real quick. We've got a Nighthawk Rapier Hugin banned by Odin's voicemail and Healer Barghest Balgorn banned by 2 rigs. Again, Healer ban, very popular ban this evening. Barghest ban again, very popular ban. First ban time out for the Nighthawk, the Rapier, and the Hugin, though. What do we think here, guys?
So they clearly don't want to see long-range webifiers. Both the Rapier and the Hugin outgamed, and there's only limited options. Like the Loki can't reach the same range, or neither can the Hyena. So you're trying to get rid of these really, really long-range webifiers. So you most likely want to kite, since these ships can be really strong against kiting setups.
Yeah, and the one real web ship they left behind was the Balgon, which doesn't have as much range, but it didn't really matter because the other team banned it for them anyway. So, I mean, hey, left on the table, and the other guy got rid of it for you. Thank you very much, sir.
You are seeing yet again another Gila ban. I have a feeling that the Gila being banned so far 1, 2, 3 out of 4 of our matches is not a very popular ship to run into.
It just does everything for a really, really good price, as it does in TQ as well. It's just you don't if you're not gonna you don't want to fight it, you don't bring it. So you don't you ban it off. If you want to bring it, then you don't ban it. And I can guarantee you, if it doesn't get banned, someone will bring at least one every time. They're just too good.
Especially with the Tech 2 drones, which you have to remind yourself are allowed in this Anger game format. Other times it was only Tech 1, and even then the Gilas and Rattlesnakes were pretty oppressive.
Yep, Gila is ridiculous. I don't know anything else to say to it about that. I don't like Gila.
Yeah, so now that we've got both teams on grid, we can talk a little bit about their comps. We're seeing double Golem, double Caracal, double Manticore, Osprey. Seeing the Osprey come out again, and they are going up against double Eris, double Brutix Navy. Is that double Vigilant?
Double Ares, right?
Single Vigilant and a Megathron Navy issue there.
This is my comp, baby.
Like,
Everyone
so
at 0-2.
I'm excited, mate. Oh, baby.
Last
Talking
Last
about the Odin's voicemail wanted to kite, clearly want to do the opposite. And they don't want these long-range webs to stop them, but they don't really need to be stopped because they're right on top of the two rig one ship golems.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
Okay,
Right then.
so just as a warning while we transfer over to the arena, the overview is mildly balked for this match. Corporation standings and fraternity causing issues there somehow, but we're figuring that one out real quick. But as you can see, we've got these teams. We've got that. Do we think that's a hull tanked team there? The Megathron
Oh, it
Navy
better be.
Brutixes?
absolutely. Like, it's a Mega Navy and 2 Brutix Navies at 0. If you're not hull tanked, you need to uninstall Eve right now. You do not bring an armor tank fit in this situation.
So one really interesting thing to note is that the Odin's voicemail team didn't bring any logi, so they're going to go all in
They
on the
don't need it.
brawling.
An interesting
DPS
thing
is
as well,
their
like,
god and savior.
why they also brought no logi as well, that could be a potential problem, hence why you remove all the long webs. But it doesn't really matter because both the golems are right in front of them. They don't have to go chase it. It's right there. Just kill it. This is the perfect setup for them. Those golems are going to die. They're gone.
So this is one thing I keep repeating over and over when commentating on things like that. Unless you're the team with the biggest and baddest blaster ships, you don't want to be at 0. And we're having these 2 golems at 0. And last time, the 2 rig one ship team also had their bidders at 0. It's not something you want. You have torpedoes, they can shoot longer than blasters. You don't want to be in here because you're going to have someone blasters on your face, and then it's goodbye.
At least warp at 20, at least, the very minimum. That way you give a little bit of wiggle room, but you can still apply even blasters at that range, but you can at least control the guy away. At 0, they had no option. They are now there for the fight whether they like it or not.
You have to remember these don't have bastions, so they're going to get blasted through no matter what. And then you have 2 golems. That's a lot of points being gone right away.
He wants to take bets on whether these golems last more than 40 seconds.
Well, let's have a decent buffer, but yeah, they're going to go down quickly. And the 2 rig one ship team do have some kiting stuff like the Caracals and the Manticores, but the Eris is really fast. So they need to get rid of these Eris if they want to have any chance to kite.
Yep, right. 15 seconds to a match start. Link's now being set off now. These golems have joined the party whether they wanted to or not, and they're not going to be long.
All right.
And the match has begun. So now we're going to see which golem is going to get picked first, as they're going to get bullied by all these blaster ships. And they already got one web, eccentric, and he's half shield already. Like, this is massive amount of damage. What is he going to do? He's going to die.
I called it, mate, my man. 40 seconds. That's all it's going to take. And this guy's going to go. Look at the Eris going straight through shield into armor. Thorax is being shot too. They're just split damage right now. Not the best call, in my opinion. Pick off at least one ship. Manticore now being shot as well as the second golem was also being just obliterated.
Yeah, so these areas are just going in and killing these bombers. So that's right call. Just want to kill them fast and get rid of this high amount of DPS.
He doesn't quite get it though. The Manticore survives past him. The second golem is down. The Manticore is alive. One of the Eris is down. Second Manticore is going into armor now as well. Yep, they got that Manticore at least. That's one down. This team has just got obliterated. I see a bomb being yeasted into the void. That's not going anywhere important.
Yes, we have the Forex and the Eris being low, but we still have the big ships of the Odin's team. And they are going to chase down these Caracals, and only get one of Caracals caught there. And he's going down so quickly, like the 2-1 ship team is just getting obliterated by this high amount of blasted DPS.
Surprised by the thorax of Terrius Maximus, because I honestly expected that thing to be dead a long time ago. But it's just sat there. Maybe the target was shooting it. It stopped shooting it now because it's just sitting there in a hull and no one's shooting it anymore. And look at the Osprey now.
Hull tank Forex, and the only things that can shoot him is a bomber and a rapid light Caracal that's probably hit the reload.
Yeah, look at the Osprey as well. He's into hull. He's going to be gone. This is beautiful. Blaster rush all day, every day. Bring me the hull tank. Bring me the plates. Let's go. I want to dance.
So this Caracal is kited far, far away, but now he's going to have to dodge 5 ships, all going to come in towards him, and they can spread out and try and chase him from different angles. Looks like they're just going to do the approach on the overheat micro drive, and they're catching up to him. They're so much faster.
And also just an absolute wave of drones. I can see like, what was that, 10, 15, 20 drones going towards him. Even if they can't catch him, he's just going to die to the endless pinpricks of drones.
So guys, this is why you don't warp in stuff at 0 unless you have the most blaster ships. We saw these golems evaporate, and this is like a lot of points going right out the window without doing anything.
Yeah, just those golems just didn't have a chance at all. Like, what else do you say to that? They die within, like, I think I was wrong, 30 seconds or less.
Yeah, and GFs in local, this was like the fastest match we had in this format, I believe. This is another case of blasters going brrr.
Yeah, man, my absolute favorite.
Yeah, so very, very commanding win there for Odin's voicemail, as we saw those hull tanked blasters just rip apart those 2 golems at the start there. Like, I think those golems went down in about a minute flat, which was very impressive to see.
You don't warp your Marauder without bashing to 0. Even if it wasn't a blaster rush there, even if it was a different comp, you don't bring your no bastion golems at 0 with no support. You just know, it doesn't matter what comp you're versing, that's not what you do. I don't care what it is.
What if it's a blaster Chronos?
Still don't warp it to 0, you warp it to 10 at the very least.
Why?
Once you warp to 0, you then admit you have no control, essentially. If they're not at 0, you're in trouble. At least if you're 10 or 20, you can then be in a potential position for other shenanigans. But
you gotta give it your faith and your hope. If you warp in at range and not at 0, Bob's disappointed in you.
You gotta believe in the cards.
And even then, a Kronos is a blaster ship. It is exempt from that rule.
Wonderful. I mean, also with the Bastion not being allowed, I mean, whole tanks, passive Kronos, right? Right?
You're back buffering.
Well, whole tank Kronos is going to be a bad idea. You can get much more HP out of Vindicator or Navy Megaphron, or even just a vanilla Megaphron.
Yeah, the one thing you'll get out of it more than anything else is just simply utility highs. That's the only thing it's going to give you. Whether you can make use of that, it's probably not. But it's enough of an idea that I'll gladly go to Pyre and start having some fun.
I was pretty sure that the Kronos is fairly slow compared to other Galente battleships.
Yeah, all Galente battleships are slow. It's just a matter of degree. But I do agree, it is a terrible idea. But I would say, at least in that situation, I would have brought a Blaster Kronos to that fight more than I would have brought a Golem to 0.
Yeah, most definitely. But even if they had Kronos instead of Golems, the result would have been the same.
Exactly.
Maybe
the
they would
exact
just
same.
have gotten to fire off 2 volleys instead of 1.
If it was a whole tank Kronos, at least it would have had buffer. If they were trying to be active, which the Golem would have to do a bit of, wouldn't have worked. It was just going to die.
I
But
mean,
don't whoop to 0. Enough said.
it's very interesting that we saw Rapier Hugin bans and we had those guys warping in at 0. But as we've got teams warping to the arena, let's just talk about this next match with aggressively mid-tier in blue versus Fwaming Dwagons in red. Basilisk, Scimitar, Sleipnir banned by aggressively mid-tier, with the Blackbird, the Balgorn, and the Hyena being banned. So again, we're seeing that ban it or bring it with the Blackbirds. Balgorn ban, 3 matches in a row we've seen Balgorn bans now. And the T2 Logi ban as well.
It's a hard shield ban. Sleipnir and both Basilisk and Scimitar gone. That's the Mimitar Rosh removed and the any long range Kaidi shield comp. Or even a brawling shield comp with the Basilisk.
It's worth mentioning that in this format you are allowed to bring the Etana. And since, for the open practice...
Does everyone else
Yes.
see what I see at the moment? Someone brought a banship again.
Guys,
It's
please,
fine.
please, with the bans.
Minor details.
Again with the bans. So yes,
Yep.
we are seeing a
Shame.
ban Scimitar there.
Shame.
That is unfortunate. Soth, what are we doing about this?
We can pretend that the Simi is an Athena, right?
It's even got a dope ass skin, which does
Man,
not
I don't
save
know.
it from being banned.
Are you sure though? They can bribe us off, right? That's always on the
mean-
table.
They could certainly try.
At least 5 ISK from CC.
I mean, I've got to say, 5 ISK on Sissy is what? That's almost the carrier right there.
I mean, at least this time they didn't ban it themselves.
I know, right? Oh my god, it's one of those days.
This is all fine. I mean, where's the referee material? Just warping in at range, they start missing 1 ship, right? That's great. Everything's okay here.
So while we're figuring out what to do with the banned Simi, I would like to point out that this is in fact an armor nightmare. So he's flying with an armor setup, having an Oneris to repair him. And this
I mean,
leaves
the nightmare has the lows, right? If you don't care about tank, or if you don't care about DPS.
It does have a fair amount of lows, but this leaves a lot of mids open. And I wonder what he has there. Is it screening? Is it E-War? Or is it just a lot of application?
He's got extra MWDs in case he burns one out.
His official statement is, whoops.
I mean, he can go back and fetch an Etana, right?
I think whoops does just sum that up there. What can you do, guys, really? Just what can you do?
Just blow him up.
Warp him
I
to
mean,
0.
honestly,
Make him start at 0.
Alright. on the real server, have a 1-plex find for every 5 seconds we're stuck here waiting or something. Right? Add something to the prize pool. I mean, who knows? This is the whole test thing, right? This is the for fun fight. For all we know, this is all a part of an elaborate setup to make people look incompetent. That way, when the real matches start, no one expects them to not bring a banned ship.
The meta
Actually,
play.
quickly, just a moment right here. This is the first time the Gila has not been banned. Immediately, there's 2 going to be brought on grid. Immediate.
Come on. Last weekend it was only banned for, what, 2 games?
Gila. All the Gilas.
And
While
here
we're
we
sitting
see
here
that
looking at
Poed can
space,
count to 4. Wonderful.
I know, I can do it. Can we take a look? Can you look at the VedMac for us? Can we just appreciate the pointiness?
Triangles are not real ships.
Look at that. Look at that Vedmak. I want red team's blue team here is gonna win. They've got a Vedmak.
Does that Vedmak have a skin? I don't.
It doesn't, but honestly, the default Triglavian skin, if you look at it from how it goes from like that green to the red, is honestly, I think, is one of the coolest default skins you can get. It's just subtle.
We've also got
Very
the we've also got a wonderful skin on that Aneros that well, what's the name of that skin again?
This is
The
the
Frontier
bush limits I had before he
Silverado.
warped off.
Okay, yeah, I will admit. That one's cool. Have you seen the Lashak Nether Striker one? That one is neat.
Triangles aren't real. Free.
Funny story, I scammed someone out of that skin once.
Yeah, and we should note as well, that skin provided to everyone who donated to the Plex for Good about the Australian wildfires last year. Wayne, obviously you're down under. That was just a rough time for you, right?
It was probably one of the craziest things we've had in a long period. Like, so even some of the events that I've seen going on at the time, it was just, even though the event was still going, you're just watching a giant haze of smoke at all times. Like, if anyone's a fan of burnouts and stuff, you look at Summer Nats that year, it was when you're doing a burnout and the sky is already in a haze and there were nowhere near the fires. It's just crazy. And there was a lot of lives affected, of course, but I was lucky.
For those of us who aren't aware, what's a burnout? Like drifting cars or something else?
As in, you go into a circle and yeah, you just spin the wheels going absolutely nowhere whatsoever.
Okay, that's what I thought it was. I just had to
The
make sure.
goal is the goal essentially is to pelt the crowd with as much rubber as possible. Oh yeah.
Oh, you don't stop at the tires though. You have to go down the rims, right?
You
Every
haven't
time.
you haven't done a proper burnout until the tires have just popped.
Exactly right. See, this man is a man of culture and knows exactly how it's meant to be done. So you're gonna keep going, mate. You need more power to break the grip. Right, is he back? Can we go?
I'm just imagining someone now trying to do a burnout in a 4-wheel or all-wheel drive car.
Okay. So
How would you?
Watch Rob down.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but am I seeing this right? We have 3 Kitsunes on the grid.
I'm pretty sure
One
that
are,
one of them
um,
is red, two of them are blue. So yes, but also it's following the rules.
And
so have the match
Basilisk.
starting in 15 seconds.
And a banned Basilisk.
You know, we can just ignore that.
Oh my
But also,
god!
yes.
What's going on here? Please.
That's officially an Etana.
Ah, that's an Etana. Okay.
Yep, it's okay. It's fine.
So-
Everything makes sense.
Okay, we'll
And the
have
match has
wing
started. And I'm running commentary. I forgot. Hello. We've got the red team just
And-
running away.
That hurts. That hurts so much.
I mean, they drop drones and they run. It works.
Look at this Jackdaw getting absolutely like shot right down the low shield, but then the Bassi, the cough band Bassi, is keeping him up. It's not honestly not much
We
going
have to
at the
call
moment.
it a net tonight.
You have to call it an Etana, right?
This Jackdaw has no buffer. He's being shot into armor and then catching reps. That's kind of crazy.
Why is this Oracle? Okay, the Oracle's like burning directly at that Jackdaw, but now he's finally starting to try and
He's matching
transfer.
trans, so it's working.
Yeah, he is now. I mean, it wasn't a moment ago. That's what I was asking. And he's
Back
yeah,
to
he's
not
not, even,
matching trans.
not anymore. No, he's just given up. He's just gonna just burn in straight lines.
He's trying. He's got the spirit of it.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the Kitsune. Gone. Just
Oh,
delete.
pop! There goes the Jackdaw too. 2 pops, really quickly, succinct. I mean, the red team
Finally.
just lost one of their tackle here. Oh boy, there goes the other Jackdaw. This is not good. We see both Kitsunes insta-pop, but at the same time, red team has lost a good chunk of their stuff here. I would like to say Vedmak is alive and well.
This Mac is doing. I wasn't really paying attention to him, but I'm wondering what's going on.
Kitsune's
He's
drop.
hardly fit, is he?
Macariel, looking at him, he is
Autocannon.
cannon. I can't.
He's
Yeah,
autocannon.
and we see the Kitsunjai instantly. There's been a lot of just heavy losses on both sides. It's now 4-on-4 with their core remaining. All the small stuff has eaten it. We're gonna watch this
Macario's shooting
Vedmak
at?
grab tackle on this order. I don't know. Vedmak's actually just burning away from the Gila. He wants
What
to get
is-
off.
I'm very confused. Can someone see what is this Mac shooting at? Anything?
The Macariel is shooting drones. Actually, can't tell. He's
Hold on,
actually
what?
shooting drones. Okay,
Please don't tell me
and we
he's
see the
shooting drones.
Bazzi drop like a rock.
What is this Macariel doing, guys? I don't get it.
He's trying to track a Magus right now. It's not going very well.
Why? Shoot the Nightmare at least. The Oracle.
I mean, Magus is low.
actually near
Magus
range.
is low. He might get him.
Like this time he's been trying to shoot that. They could have picked off the Oniris or maybe even the Oracle. Like the Oracle, even with an Oniris, is not a very heavy tank ship, and the Mac.
And they're about to lose their Gila here too. Shaglav in
no.
superiority.
This Mac, honestly, I hate to be rude to someone, but this Mac, I might have actually cost them the match there because he's got a low DPS. It's just being wasted on a ship that he just can't apply to.
Gila's down. You know,
Yeah,
look at
that's-
this
yeah.
little Vedmak running around doing tons of damage against this stuff. Huh.
Triangles
And
aren't
that
real.
Gila, these Gilas are melting, like even against the DPS they're tanking. I wouldn't have expected them to melt so fast.
Forget they are versing a lot of shield damage at the moment. That's not shield, laser damage. Oracle plus Nightmare, and then of course a Vedmak spooling up. They were
Well,
done.
Vedmak doesn't even get a spool here. They just drop like rock. I don't know. Let's see if this Macariel's a bit tankier. I mean, if he's shield tank, probably not.
It don't matter no more. He's done. My man, you
trying.
flew the best ship. You flew the best ship on the grid as far as I'm concerned, but you didn't use it. Didn't use it.
He got a wonderful skin too. And it's a shame. Man, he's melting. I have to know, who's he shooting at right now? Did he finally decide to switch to the Nightmare?
At the
Gave up.
moment, yeah, no one at all. He's not even aiming at anyone anymore.
Maybe he's run out of cap. Right?
That doesn't work. It's projectile guns.
I'm just saying that to cause you physical pain. I'm sorry.
Hallelujah.
I mean, he's got some hits off.
Was he being ECM droned, or did some there's like
No ECM drones on him.
It's like
He
a
just had
family
to
friend. take
maybe
over the
reload.
kitchen.
I think reload to long range ammo to try to hit the Oniros, probably. Who knows?
It hurts.
I would like to remind everyone that these matches don't necessarily have to be 100% great ideas. After all, these are the practice matches, and if you want to look completely incompetent, you can do that. And I'm not going to say that any team here has looked completely incompetent, because I would feel bad if they're actually trying. So, great
Hurts to
performance
watch.
by both teams. Yes, very good performance.
I'm
That
not sure
one
I can
hurt.
agree with that, Howard. That was a very convincing win for aggressively mid-tier there.
It's all part of their plan, right?
Yeah, that one hurt. That one hurt. That Mac could have done so much in that fight that it just didn't. It was spending time trying to shoot a Magus that even if it had killed it, even if it had taken that Magus down, what would that have accomplished?
I would have gotten rid of about maybe 200 DPS and links, possibly.
Meanwhile,
sort
it could fight toe to toe with an Oracle and just delete that. Even under like
Yeah,
logic reps, it could kill
The
that.
Oracle was completely untouched, and
Yeah.
Macariel could easily run down an armor Oracle. So this doesn't make sense at all.
And
If
any
red-
range Oracle
red
can
team-
shoot, it can shoot back. Any
Red
range.
team did do one good thing, and I was using the healers to kill the
Off the small stuff.
kill all the small stuff. And this was something we talked about last week. That if you want to bring Bromos, you have to ban out healers because the drones just kill these frigates so easily. And the same thing applies to EWAR frigates. If you want to have Kitsunis or stuff like that, you want to ban healers because otherwise the drones are just going to kill those ships and then leave you without them. But I would actually say that was looking really good in the beginning for the red team, but then they just decided they didn't want to win, so they had some really bad target calling with the Macariel going for a ship that will struggle to track.
And not just that, it wasn't like he was trying to like signature. He was trying to like transversal match or anything. He just looked like he was just hitting approach on him. At least I was misseeing that. I saw it look like he just pressed approach on that Magus and just kept trying to shoot him. Like, yeah, they did well at the start. They had the potential, but it just kept throwing it down the drain.
So both the Vetmac and the Oracle are Tech 1 chips, so they don't have the high resist. They don't have any resist burners. So these are like soft targets you could kill. In the meantime, the Magus has high resist and a small signature, and probably also an AB that they can use to shuffle around with. But one thing I really want to point out is the Nightmare being an armor fit, having so many mids open for application, and that was what we saw. Like while the healers were killing the Nightmare's support wing, the Nightmare was killing support wing of the red team.
Yeah.
So
that was doing amazing work for sure.
Shout out to Keith and then Nightmare he must be having a blast just sniping all these ships out, pretending to be Hydra going the boom headshot.
And doing it unopposed too. Like I said, the Mac didn't even try to shoot him. Mac didn't even shoot the Oracle or the Orneris. He's had a field day having fun and no one stopped him. I don't get it.
Yeah, so we've got teams warping into the arena just now. Let's talk about these next bands. Match between Test Alliance in blue and, if all else fails, in red. Bands are Oracle, Rook, Falcon, Rattlesnake, Nighthawk, Armageddon there. So, again, with those really strong ECM bands and the Rattlesnake, super high DPS shield battleship. What do we think? Are we expecting to see Blackbirds again here?
Who knows?
It would have been my first thought, also with the wanting to ban the Oracle that can reach out and shoot these Blackbirds.
Yeah, that initial bans from Test definitely looks like they want to, remove the really good ECM boats and leave their Blackbird, but then remove a ship that can kill the Blackbird well. That's what it kind of looks like there. The other bans, Rattlesnake, tough shield battleship, Nighthawk can be a very potent command battlecruiser. Sorry. The Armageddon though, that seems a bit off type for what they're banning there. I'm a little confused by that one.
I mean, the long-range neutralizers can be really nasty against shield ships. We're having both teams landing on grid. So we have not one, but two Minmatar Rush set up with the healer instead of Cinnables.
Yeah, so with two double slap comps here, with one team bringing... No, both teams bringing double healer as well. Differences in the Stalk being traded out for Svipple, and the Skybreaker being traded
with
out
guns,
for
actually.
two Kierans. And then obviously Team Blue, Test Alliance, bringing that Scythe, that Tech 1 Minmatar Logi Cruiser. Tech 1 Minmatar Logi Cruiser, what do we think about it?
I think that the Tech 1 Logic Cruiser, in terms of pure rep power, is probably decently close to the two Kiirans. It's a self-tank, though. Those two Kiirans have the SIG. But going against two Gilas, they might melt really fast.
The thing is, the Scythe is extremely vulnerable, so if they can, if the red team can get that Jones on the Scythe, then it will can go down really quickly, and I actually think that the Kiirans have a better chance of surviving in this matchup.
Honestly, Gilas just do so much damage and applies so well. I think the big difference is going to be the Logi Wing and the Skybreaker acting as tackle for Team Blue here.
Yeah, so
We'll see.
matchup big on, and we're seeing both teams burn in and drones racing across the field. Can't quite see.
Skybreaker's doing some damage to the drones.
Yeah, so the blue team are going for the Kiirans. We have the drones following Infinity Phase in the Kiiran.
Kiiran is trying his best to live. I think the Kiiran's dead. Interestingly enough, though, it looks like the majority of the damage that this Kiiran is taking is from the Skybreaker, so that's interesting. We've got one of the blue Gilas dropping pretty hard here.
Yeah, if they can kill this healer, then it's a really good trade for them, and they have the Sleipnirs on top of it, so he's going to go down really quickly. In the meantime, the blue Sleipnirs, one of them been screened, Suldarius and Davis have screened each other, just sprawling it out. We have the
We're
second.
going to see a
blue.
Gila traded for a Kieran here, almost exactly at the same time, I think. There goes the Kieran, and I think the Gila's about to follow. He's holding on a
There
little
he
bit
goes.
longer, but nope, there he goes. So the question is now, is that worth it? The Gila loss is a lot of DPS loss. But you do see this Sleipnir already in low shield, and you see the blue Sleipnir dropping pretty quickly too. So is it going to be enough? Can blue team out DPS red team right now?
So you're having a big Sleipnir brawl in the middle, and with the else team having the extra healer now, they're having the most DPS on the team, and this is a really strong advantage they have. As Lafont is actually dropping really quickly, so he's going down. This is the advantage string away from them.
This scythe is about to dry. They did switch off the Sleipnir, but you see this other Sleipnir die as well. So now there are no Logi left for blue team. But if they can kill the Sleipnir, they might be able just to pure out DPS the other team. They've got
Yeah.
DPS on a Swipple and Sleipnir right now. If both of those drop, that's a lot of DPS you're missing out. But at the same time, you see this Sleipnir going pretty low.
Losing the first Sleipnir is going to put them far behind. But Davis is tanking fairly well. The Kieran is sort of a deep fall off, but Asha is still trying to apply as much as reps as she can onto that Sleipnir to extend his life. Do see Grin Shinva in the triple going down, being isolated.
Swipple down, Sleipnir, tanking. Both Sleipnirs tanking for now. Skybreaker taking a lot of damage, actually. Skybreaker drops instantly. Oh, that's not the Skybreaker, that's the Kieran. That's not good. And Sleipnir drops, and this is a blue team win. 2 Gilas against all that DPS is not going to be pretty.
Yeah, losing that first Sleipnir was really bad for the red team. Put them so far behind. They might be able to kill one of them, but 2 healers versus 4 ships.
Actually, splitting DPS on the Gilas doesn't seem like a great idea. I mean, if the Gilas can kill the one Sleipnir before either, they're local tank. They've got strong local tanks going. If they can kill the Sleipnir, they might be able to do it.
I mean, for the red team to win, they have to kill the tackle and then kite around the Sleipnir. But it looks like Altian has been... he's being muted by the healer of Dana. Also,
they've actually got both of their drones heading for that Skybreaker, which seems like a terrible choice. He's going way too fast for those infiltrators to catch up.
Yeah, they need to put these drones on the Stork since they have captured one of them, and the other healer has been captured by the Sleipnir. So this is game over for the if all else team fails.
I mean, just maybe if they can pull range on the Sleipnir. They are tanking still. Neither of them have dipped into armor. I think we're about to see Cloak. Cloak dips low. Oh, he might be out of charges. He's definitely out of charges. He's dead. The other Gila's also too close to the rest of them. I don't think he's going to be able to get out.
He's trying his best to survive, but he's getting chased down.
And
won by everything. Skybreaker being faster and the other healer looting him out.
And that's going to be it for this poor Gila. That is one of our more bloodier matches with only 3 ships left on the winning team. No logic.
Yeah.
Skybreaker doing a lot of friendly damage onto those drones.
Good fights tend to be really bloody match. As see 2 teams just rush into each other and apply a lot of damage. GFs and local.
Yeah, so we had a really interesting last few minutes to that match. Those 2 healers from, was it, If All Else Fails, really just hanging in there, but at the end, just not quite enough. Yeah, those Sleipnirs really just putting in work again. Wingnut just going kind of right there with his book on Sleipnirs.
I've got to say, it is a good thing to see my totally unbiased personal favorite Test Alliance, please ignore, win both of their matches that they've had today.
Yeah, the one thing I find interesting about that fight, we were talking earlier about how the Kirins tend to tank better than a Scythe does there. And I feel like in that match, they just didn't try to kill the other Scythe. And he just got to sit on grid, just giving out his reps. I wasn't sure in that match when they traded a Kirin for a Gila. I was like, oh, that's a lot of DPS loss. But it seemed to just kind of like break the back of that team. Like, I don't know what happened on the other side with the Sleipnirs, but the moment that Kirin went down, that team just couldn't do anything anymore. And the Scythe just survived for way longer than it should have.
It
Yeah,
might have
sometimes-
honestly been just perfect range for the Scythe, just barely out of range on EMP on those Sleipnirs. No, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised when they didn't go for the Scythe, instead went for the healer. The Scythe is really squishy, and in the end, it did the wrapping power did prolong the life of the Test Alliance team of their ships. So this is one thing when dealing with Logis. The longer the match draws out before you kill the Logi, the more value do you get out of it. And if they didn't kill it at the beginning, it would just start wrapping these Sleipnirs, and in the end, just slowly pushing the trade in the favor of the test team.
And the idea as well is that, when you kill one of the Kirins, you're removing half their Logi power, but also killing their ability for the Logi to keep itself alive. Whereas with the Scythe, they're killing literally all of the Logi power in one hit, and the ability for it to keep itself alive at the same time. So it's like, well, they killed the Kirin, not killed the Scythe in return. I was like, what's going on here? Surely that Scythe should have been the first thing to go. But they went for a Gila instead. I thought that was potentially maybe a good call on its own, but it just didn't. They didn't follow up on that. The Scythe stayed alive for too long, and the Kirin died too quick. Opposite of what I expected. Don't know what to say to that one.
Silence for those two poor Kirins. Going up against Gilas and anything smaller than a cruiser is just absolutely brutal.
Yeah, but I mean, second one stayed alive for a good long time, though. That's the thing that was kind of interesting. They killed half and left the other half alive.
Yeah, so I think that Kirins have a decent chance to survive against healer drones because they have Tech2 resist and are fairly tanky. But
And
then
they're
when they
6
add
big
up
tons,
the
so-
rest of the DPS of the Rush team, they start to break.
Yeah, one thing I'll
And
say to
one
that fight as
issue-
well is like,
issue we had here with the Kirins is that they burned away trying to extend their life, but by doing so, they got out of the range of wrapping the Sleipnir. They got primaried.
Okay, so
yeah, the one part I didn't see that fight was the Sleipnirs fighting each other, because when we got to the Sleipnirs like finally dying, when I looked at them, they were already like through most of their XLASB charges. Like he died within moments of the what's it called, of the damn it, the Scythe dying. That's the name. It was really quick. I was very surprised.
yeah, so going into this next match with RamRod Shenanigans in blue and Eire Engineers in red, we do see 7 bans again here. We've got a duplicated Rattlesnake ban, followed by Eos, Oracle, and Curse for RamRod Shenanigans bans there, and Barghest, Cerberus, and Sleipnir for Eire Engineers. So again, those Rattlesnake Barghest bans.
Yeah, Rustic is a strong ship, but the Barghest, Cerberus, Sleipnir bans a lot of like range DPS and movable range DPS removed. Barghest obviously good self-control range battleship. Cerberus is obviously just good range DPS. And a Sleipnir as well. Well, we just saw what it does. It's pretty good, but they can also be good in the kiting comp as well. So that's a lot of good shield range DPS ships just removed.
I mean, normally when looking at these bans, I would say that the Eire Engineers would be bringing a setup with ships like either ECM or other vulnerable ships that don't want to get sniped out.
Or controlled as well, which is another idea.
Yeah, but with the RamRod, they're banning the ears. It's not something we have seen that much, but it's after the recent buff, you can get quite tanky while also bringing links and having strong drones. The Oracle long range protection and the Curse. So it's actually quite different bans. Like, not entirely sure what their goal is. They're not really going in a specific direction with the bans. They're just a little bit here and a little bit there, banning ships that we haven't really seen that much.
Yeah,
Well-
the bans are definitely a little scattered. I'm not sure what's going on there. Like, they've banned the Newts from the Curse, but then they've banned an EOS, which is a good command ship, but then they've banned Oracle, which is ranged laser. Like, I don't know what they're doing. Maybe that's their plan. If we don't know what they're doing,
Dominic's
then
isn't
they won't
banned.
know.
Domi isn't banned, and Domi has 100% win rate, right? So where's our Dominic's?
Well, right now, RamRod Shenanigans is trying to teach their new team members how to warp.
That's always a good start. Fantastic.
It's a good sign, too.
Can we confirm that we've not had any issues with bans?
I mean, red team here looks good.
Well, they are not on grid yet, so no, we can't.
We don't know quite yet. Give them a moment. They might be able to still screw it up.
Well, I mean, they're trying to teach people to warp, so how much hope can we hold out, really?
You know what? It's a good sign to know that they're really, really fresh blood, right? It's always good to see new, fresh players join the battlefield here. It's not like EVE is a game that requires a decent understanding of the mechanics, right?
No.
You align to something, you anchor up, F1, F2, maybe if you're good,
I mean,
and you're good.
Right-click approach, turn guns on. That's about all you need.
Forget about it. I mean,
You might
honestly, you don't
see
even
the
need a
rare anchor
broadcast.
doctrine.
Anchoring? What's that when it's at home?
I have no idea. I've never done it before.
And you say you've never done it before, and you've done some fun stuff in LoSec, right, Wingnut?
LoSec? What?
Every time I hear
I'm
Wingnut,
lost.
I think of the torpedo delivery videos. Is that you?
It's not
No, that's
me.
Wingspan.
Wingspan.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, I'm sorry.
I am very confused right now. I feel like I'm being roasted. I don't know what's going on.
They do good videos. I like them. They're interesting. They deliver torpedoes to people. Yeah.
We have switched over to the arena here on the stream, and we can see that we've got a Leshak Balgorn team with a double Deacon, double Purifier support, and that Magus there going up against this wonderful Nightmare double Phantasm double Succubus comp. Do we think that this Nightmare comp's going to pull it out again?
I don't.
No.
I'm looking at it. I'm not sure. Not at all.
They won their first match because they got lucky and got up against something they counter. In this situation, the Balgon is having long range webs, and the webs are going to fuck them over.
I will say though, looking at this, what they're versing, they're going to be able to remove those purifiers immediately. Like, they've got a lot of DPS that can apply. Obviously, Phantasm plus Succubuses. I don't think those purifiers are going to last long, which means all DPS is left is really just a Leshak. And I think a Nightmare should be able to give a Leshak a good run for its money. Obviously, the Balgon's mostly control. I can't know if it's got guns on it.
Well, a Nightmare isn't going to shoot much if it's going to be neutered out, which the Balgon is really good at.
Yeah, well, the Balgon has got guns fitted, so it's not a full nuke fit. So that Nightmare should have a chance. And obviously, 3200s make them. They can at least give the cap up for a good amount of time, at least for tanking. So I actually think you might have a chance.
With having armor bombers, you have them 2 mid slots open from E-War. So you can fit the tracking disruptors or guidance disruptors and assisting you in surviving.
Makes me
We
wonder
have a match countdown started, but we did see one of the blue team's deacons swapping off, so I'm not really sure what's going on here.
Maybe you'll join mid-battle. I guess we're gonna go live. Hey, he's coming back.
And he arrived at the last possible moment as the match has begun.
Oh, sure, okay. Interesting that they warped in at 0 with a double Deacon and Leshak Balgon setup. I would have thought the Deacons might have warped still at like a little bit of range, but they warped in directly at 0 as well. And we have a bomb out
the
already.
Succubus going straight in, just like last match. And they're going for the bombers. No one is going to screen them. Actually, not what I expected. Did one Deacon just pop, or where did he go?
Bomb was actually real well placed. He actually hit both the shields off on both the Deacons. Unfortunately, they didn't get any more than that, but that could have actually been a devastating blow at the start.
So you got 2 Succubus harassing the back line of the blue team, but I'm not really breaking anything.
Yeah, not yet. Not yet. They're pressuring both the purifiers. We'll see if the deacons keep them alive, but so far they're still good. But the longer those purifiers stay alive, the more trouble this nightmare is going to be, and they have to get rid of them ASAP, or they're in deep trouble.
Yeah, we're seeing the
Okay.
Bargon and the Leshak just burning in. The Bargon is getting shot by the Nightmare, I believe, and the Phantasms, that's what they called. But he's tanking fairly well. Meantime, one Phantasm is taking heavy amount of damage and going into armor now.
Yep, not looking good for him.
So this AB bonus doesn't help when you're grappled and have a Leshak sitting right on top of you, just tearing through your tank.
Exactly. Yeah, that Phantasm needed to keep it to range and high speed, and it's not able to do either at this point. It's going to be gone for sure. Yep, there it goes. And honestly, I thought they had a chance here, but they're just not able to kill off these bombers at all. They're still alive. That's just free DPS.
The Succubus are being completely ignored, but Deacons can just tank their DPS, no problem.
Yeah, I was hoping that the Succubus could be able to kill at least one of these bombers, but maybe they were splitting DPS. It looks like they're going on to one now.
I'm so cool in the Purifier taking a heavy amount of damage. We need to get reps on him really soon. And Alan, the other bomber, is also taking damage. So now I have a bit split damage, but luckily these Deacons have 6 reppers in total. They can split between them.
Yeah, I think they need to just focus on one at the moment, but it's not really going to matter at this point. I think it's
So we had-
already stuck. Sorry, go ahead.
We had the Nightmare burning Fraud's MJD beacon. I thought I was actually going to take it, but he's turning around and burning back into the brawl again. I'm not really sure what his goal is, but looks like he's trying to nude out one of the Deacons and trying to apply it to one of the frigates, I think.
I was going to say, big balls to the Scimitar pilot right now. He's actually within newt range of the Leshak.
And we have one more bomb going off, probably trying to kill off these repair bots. And he's also killing friendly damage drones with this bomb.
Yeah, if that Leshak had a spare newt, he could have immediately thrown into that Scimitar and made him struggle. And he's still close to him. He's about, 15k away? Why is he that close? You don't need to be that close to rep your Phantasm, my man. You got a longer rep than that.
Yeah, the Phantasm, even with the Scimitar right on top of him, goes down to this overwhelming DPS.
I don't know what the Scimitar's doing there. Maybe trying to get the Leshak to maybe shoot him, but he's still real close.
He might have medium reps.
So it looks like the attention has been drawn towards the Nightmare having both battleships going for him. So he's not going to survive for long now.
Yeah, he's going to be done. He's going to have a pretty beastly self-tank as well, even with definitely with a Scimitar helping him, but it doesn't matter. It's a Leshak, 2,400 DPS. Let's go.
He's going to get his guns and his hardener and his AB neutered off. Soon he'll be a sitting duck, not a dog, taking heavy amounts of damage from the Leshak that just keeps spooling up.
Yeah, best thing you can do is just focus on keeping his hardeners turned on. Try and get a bit of rep cycle. Don't even bother with the AB at this point. It's not going to do anything. Save your capacitor. You'll still get neutered off, obviously, but just buy as much time as you can. Maybe your team can pull this back. I see a Deacon that is being shot, but he's just surviving way too well. This is going to be clean, I think.
Yeah, there's only Nightmare and the Succubus remaining to shoot them. Nightmare will struggle to track, and the Succubus just don't do enough damage to break these.
Yeah, Nightmare's now in armor. No matter what, he just can't tank this. He's going straight down through low armor now, into hull. It's very sad to see a spiky boy go down without much of a fight, but there's nothing he can do here. No!
Ways.
I don't know if anyone else heard that. If that's Galaxy, he might have just caught me. Damn it. Galaxy's just triggering me in the background.
But yeah, we have the Leshak going for the Scimitar now. He's messing up his own tracking, but
doesn't
he
matter
just
anymore.
needs to click control space, and then the Scimitar is going to go down because the Scimitar is getting neutered out. It's going to have no hardness, no prop mod, nothing to keep him alive.
I mean, honestly, for half this fight, the Leshak could have easily killed that Scimitar, but he just knew he didn't matter. Like he was killing the I think it was the Phantasm right next to the Scimitar. He could have switched target at any point, but just went. It doesn't matter. I can break through your reps.
So the thing is with shield ships, when you nude out their hardness, you can break them under reps. So this is one of the main weaknesses of shield setups. And look, the shield setup is going up against a Bargon, which is the king of nudes, and the Leshak, the king of DPS, while also having a lot of
So
nuding
nukes,
power.
Yeah, like
This is-
Leshak is just a powerful ship. Like it's the one trick ship that I can fully respect because so much DPS, so much tank, and having utility highs, just do whatever you want. It's just you can't fight it with this kind of comp. It will win.
Now it's just Succubus and the Bifrost remaining, and throughout the entire fight, these have had a little impact. They've just been trying to kill these frigates, but they have not been able to do it.
I think the biggest mistake was at the start. I think they split their DPS way too much on the two purifiers. They should have just picked one and unloaded everything before the deacons can even get like the reps fully cycled onto it. They had enough, like plus phantasms, plus succubuses. That should be enough to just delete one immediately.
But the thing is, even if they deleted the purifier, they wouldn't have one either.
Oh, I know, but it would have been better. It would have been like
At
better
least
for
they
them.
would have restored a little bit of honor in the name of Sanshar Kawaki, but
and
no,
think about as well,
these-
the Phantasm as well was webbed down so hard that bombers can apply. So in that situation, it was actually affecting them that they were having more DPS applied to them that shouldn't have been. So there was potentially could have maybe swung it a bit, but we both know it wouldn't have happened, right? It wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, we're having a good fight in local. This was a clean match for the RamRod Shenanigans, bringing this battleship heavy setup and executing it well.
Very well.
Yes, indeed. That clean sweep win there for RamRod's Shenanigans, just taking apart those Sancha-based ships. There wasn't really much that... was that Eire engineers that comp? Yeah. There wasn't really much that Eire engineers could do. Always a bit unfortunate to see, but sometimes that's just the way these things go.
Yeah, the only thing, in my opinion, they could have done is just pick one target at the start and kill it. They had so much damage spread out on different ships, they couldn't kill anything. That's the only chance they would have had there, and even then, it's a thin one.
Well, they got hard countered in the draft. Unlike the previous match, they didn't come up against something that they countered. So this is like showing the weakness of the Sanchez ships in the tournament format. They just lack the flexibility to deal with many different comps. We have seen a couple of nightmares in other comps, but it's still a shield battleship, and it's not tanky like the Rattlesnake or the Scorpion Navy issue. So it's a lot of point for something that can go down fairly easy.
Yeah, definitely an interesting decision to base a comp around. That was our last match of the evening, so I am going to just say real quick, thank you all to everyone here at the team. General Stargazer, just been in the background, refereeing, tracking our spreadsheet for us, doing some fantastic work.
And reading at the ships.
Yes, indeed. We've had Galaxia here streaming. He's not been on the audio today, but he has been the voice in Wingnut Cross's head, and we are very happy that he could fulfill that for us. Obviously, Hoed, Midtier, Wingnut, thank you very much for providing all of that commentary this evening.
Mate, it's been beautiful.
And yeah, Sothrasol as well, who has been cleaning up the arena and fixing things in the background when we had issues with bans. Thank you very much, Soth. We will be back next weekend with our third open practice with the Anger Games. That will be happening on Saturday at 2000. Thank you very much. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. We've had a really great time this evening, and well, any final comments from anybody?
Triglavians are fake. That's all I got.
Okay, then.
I believe we are going to raid Scottish decks now.
I think that's the plan. But yep, Galaxy is going to take us out. See you guys later.